You know,
So
every
they need to
week.
change. They need to change EV mucks into just AMOK.
A.M.O.K. A.M.O.K.
Because
Every week
What
is
is up,
something
everybody?
different.
what's up, everybody? So we tried to go live, and it was like going, "Hey, prepare," and we like prepared for a long time, and it said, "Prepare, you're going to be dazzled," and all that stuff, and it never did. So I stopped
Yeah, we were
and then
supposed to
started
be
again, and it
dazzled.
jumped right on. I was like, "Oops, hello, hi." So here we are.
Are we
Hey,
dazzled?
are we what?
Are
Are
we
we live
dazzled?
or is this Memorex
I,
again?
I
I,
was I
I'm
no, I'm not even
okay.
bedazzled. I'm not nothing. I don't. Anyhow,
Be
here's your show.
dazzled.
What?
Here's your show. All right, here he is. It's here. Live
Yeah,
with it.
a mux. Yeah, that might work. It's what Angel calls it. So yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
So this is a hey, save us, Shauna.
What's up, everybody? It's Oklahoma's week. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what's going on with Oklahoma. We have on May 3rd the Thrift Con in Oklahoma City. You want to look more into the Thrift Con? It's the nation's premier vintage clothing and collectible convention that debuts in Oklahoma City. You can go to
We have
Oklahoma City
speakers.
Convention Center. I don't know. I didn't really look it up. I just saw it and went, we're going to go with it. So that's
Yeah,
at OKC on May 3rd. On the 25th through the 26th, the old chicken farm vintage barn sale is happening. And that's going to be happening in, where is that happening? Where is that happening? I saw it. Come join us and find any rusty treasures you have been looking for and everything in between. They are going to have food trucks. They're going to have handmade items and something for everyone. And they're located on an 80-acre abandoned chicken farm in Jones, Oklahoma. So it's in Jones, Oklahoma. On an
Okay.
abandoned chicken farm. I wonder if it's got like ghost
Ghost
chickens.
chickens. That's right. That's what I was thinking. Colonel Sanders is next door, right?
Well, never know.
Maybe.
On May 17th at 10 to 5 p.m., Tulsa Time Travelers Vintage Expo 2025 is happening. You can go to the Tulsa Expo Square. Again, it's going to be May 17th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at SageNet Center at Expo Square. It's $10 in advance and $12 day of, and kids 12 and under are free. No ticket necessary. On April 26th from 1 p.m. to April 27th at 4 p.m., it's time to rock and bloom. The 93rd Annual Oklahoma Iris Festival is happening. And that is at the Will Rogers Garden Exhibition Center. I had to slow down to say that because I was at Will Rogers. And but that's in that's in Oklahoma City, 3400 Northwest 36th Street in Oklahoma City. I do not know what the prices are, if there's any to get. Oh, it's completely free and open to all. So if you want to go
like
see some
free.
pretty irises, go for it.
I'm a big fan of free. I love free.
Right? Same. Me
We
too.
can only hope, Enzo. Ask time travelers, will there be conquistadors?
Oh, that'd be cool. On Sunday from 2 to 5, it's Pins for Paws, Clinton Animal Shelter fundraiser. That's going to be, where is that at? Oh, that's in Clinton, Oklahoma. Clinton Animal Shelter fundraiser. So it's in Clinton, Oklahoma. Enjoy bowling, specialty cocktails, and a silent auction, all in support of the much-needed new city of Clinton Animal Shelter.
Nice.
Then we got Ladies' Night at Spaded and Jaded Tattoo in Broken Arrow on May 15th from 6 to 9 p.m. Now that sounds something like down my alley. But again, it's Thursday, May 15th, 6 to 9 p.m. Join for a night of piercing and tattoo fun. Complimentary snacks and drinks.
Piercing don't sound like fun to me, but that's more Tina's thing.
Well, I like it. May 3rd, 2025. There's a lot going on, guys, in Oklahoma that you just probably didn't realize was happening. I'm going to say this wrong. Is it Prague or Prague, Oklahoma?
I think
Prague.
Sam, do you
everything
know
else
Prague?
is said differently,
Okay.
so it's probably Prague.
Right? It's probably Prague.
Miami,
Every person,
Prague.
right?
Yeah.
That's the first thing my friend had me look at was Miami and asked me to name it. I said Miami because I was in the corner there of Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. I knew Miami. No.
Everybody knows Miami.
Every first Sunday in May, the citizens of Prague, Oklahoma welcome people from around the world to join them in celebrating the rich Czech culture that played a vital role in the city's founding. So every Sunday, you can go and enjoy. On Saturday from 8 to 10 p.m., the 26th, a nightcap at the Belvedere, Tales of the Macabre. So if you want to go and that sounds like a lot of fun. The Belvedere Mansion, Rogers County Historical Society, that's in Claremore, Oklahoma, 121 North Chickasaw Avenue. It's a 2-hour duration. It's public. You can join for a chilling, delightful fundraiser to support roof repairs on the historic Belvedere Mansion. Again, that's Saturday, April 26th, 8 p.m. You can get tickets at eventbrite.com. Look them up on Facebook, and you can get tickets there as well. I'm going to try to hurry this up because we have a fantabulous guest, and I really want you guys to talk to this guy. Let me go through this and see if I can find some. Tahlequah 7th Annual Crawfish Fest. If you like beer and crawdaddies, I suggest going to this. This is in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, 200 North Muskogee Avenue. Look up the event on Facebook. It'll give you more information.
I had a crawdad.
Oh, I don't like them.
I loved them when I could eat them.
Mud bugs? No, I don't like them.
I can't.
I did.
So the 25th, Friday at 7 p.m., Straight Tequila Night, 90s Country Tribute at Tower Theater in Oklahoma City. If you're a country person, go to the event Tower Theater OKC on Facebook. You get your tickets there.
Tequila makes my clothes fall off.
Yeah, well,
that's another country song. Sorry. Anyhow.
If you want to... if you want to help someone on Saturday, the 26th at 6 p.m., A Cure for Kelsey is happening at Crossway Church. Join the church for a hamburger cookout, silent auction, and live auction to help raise funds for Kelsey Williamson and her fight against cancer. Yep. That's in Sulphur, Oklahoma. Disturbed. Okay, this is where I was trying to find. Disturbed, April 28th, Monday, 6:30. The Sickness 25th Anniversary Tour. Tickets, $25 to $149.50 at the Paycom Center. I would love to go to this. Oh, my God. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
right there with you.
I would love to go see them in concert. One more.
We should have tried to get him to be a guest on the show. We could have advertised and helped him with his concert.
If I knew him personally, I would have most definitely have tried to get him on. Trust me on that one. One more, and two more. Tracy Lawrence is going to be in Choctaw Casinos and Resorts on the 3rd. You can get your tickets, $55 to $70 at Choctaw Casino and Resorts. And one more, and then I'm done. Yes. One more, and then I'm done. I got to find it. It was, where's it at? I saw it. Come on.
You missed it.
It was Lil Wayne. Oh, there it is. Lil Wayne with special guest Hot Boys on May 16th at 8 p.m. Going to be at the Paycom Center. Tickets are $44.50 to $224.50, and you can find the event on the Book of Faces. I'm done.
How far away is Jones? I'm going to go see the chicken place.
Jones.
I want to see that Poultry in Motion.
No, I thought you were going to go for Lil Wayne.
Poultry in Motion.
That is
okay. And how many of you guys, when she was talking, reminded you of Vanna White?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was about ready to say, "Give me an
A." People can't even see.
You did well.
Thank you.
You did fabulous.
Thank you.
You got your air back?
I got my air back, so we can welcome the awesome, fantabulous Eric Freeman Sims onto the show now.
Yay!
Boom.
Hey, welcome, Eric.
Let's make him big. Let's see. That's me big. There we go. All right. I like that because then I can hide in my little corner.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Oh, hanging in there like a hair and a biscuit. We're doing.
Right.
I was fine until we tried to start the show, and then everything went sideways. But look, we're back on track now, so we're good. I'm happy. I'm full of love, joy, and happiness.
Definitely. Eric, why don't you tell a lot of people who you are, what you do, and what kind of great house and books you write?
What don't I do in the paranormal?
You do a lot of
So,
things.
I've been a paranormal investigator for over 20 years, and started out when I was a teenager, and investigated so many places. And in the past 5 years, I've been the host of the Unseen Paranormal podcast, and that kind of opened doors to lots of other things and networking and meeting people. And so then, kind of stumbled around last April. Actually, we are 2 days from our year anniversary of owning the Night House in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. We bought a 210-year-old historic mansion in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, called the Night House, and we do paranormal investigations there overnight. People can rent it out, and we do public ghost hunts, do history tours, and all that kind of stuff. And I just wrote a book and released it because I'm a native Tennessean. So Small Town Haunts and Legends of Tennessee is out now.
Nice.
And that's my first book. The next one I'm working on is Kentucky, so I kind of work my way around. And I am the event coordinator for a huge convention in Hopkinsville, celebrating the 70th anniversary of the Hopkinsville Goblin incident called Goblin Con. So I've been knee deep in getting speakers and vendors and planning all that. So
That's awesome.
a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I've been investigating for a long time, and I retired from the medical field 5 years ago after 20 years in medicine, 15 in emergency medicine, working at the ER, the ambulance, and started doing the podcast full time. And yeah, that's how I do the paranormal full time now with the house and the book and the podcast's kind of on hiatus right now, but I've got 170 episodes, so people can go back and listen to lots of different guests on everything paranormal, paranormal teams to paranormal celebrities, and yeah, all them kind of things on the Unseen Paranormal podcast.
Very cool.
Very cool. Where is
Yeah.
Hopkinsville?
Hopkinsville is in Kentucky, Western Kentucky. People are familiar. The closest thing people are familiar with is Land Between the Lakes, because that's a big Dogman, Bigfoot area. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Not far from Fort Campbell, Army Base in Clarksville, Tennessee. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Are we planning?
I'm writing this down. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Gonna go to the Night House. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what kind of stuff is happening over at the Night House. What got you to purchase it and bring it to where it's at today?
So it's been a residence for 210 years until we bought it last year. It's never been open to the public, and it has this long history of these people that were movers and shakers who owned it in Hopkinsville and in Kentucky in general. And so it had the history there. We just on a fluke started looking at old houses and realized how cheap they were because nobody wants to take them and fix them up anymore. And so we thought, well, we'll buy one, and if it's haunted, we'll do the paranormal stuff. If not, we'll just do the tours, the historic tours and that type of stuff, and maybe Airbnb or weddings or whatever. And we got a really good deal on the Night House. We fell in love with it when we went and looked at it. And on our way home, we were actually talking like we already owned it. And that's just kind of how it felt. And the weird thing is, to bring the paranormal into it, I had two very, very lucid dreams before we ever worked out a deal for the house, talking to the previous owner, the Knights, and them telling me that they wanted us to own the house. And
cool.
yeah. And so it was really, I knew I was dreaming, but I knew I was, like it's one of those weird things. So kind of felt like, and we just felt comfortable there from the get-go. But this house is on 3 acres in the middle of Hopkinsville, like half a mile from downtown.
Wow.
So
Not a small house.
no, it's 5,600 square feet. So
Yeah.
6 levels. It's pretty massive place. And but because it's on 3 acres and it's on the National Registry of Historic Places, but nobody's ever taken any government grants or anything. So a contractor could have bought it for as cheap as we got it for the 3 acres and torn it down and built 3 houses there, and so that history could have been lost, and never brought to light. So so it's nice to save a piece of history. It's also it's the oldest house still standing in that whole county, in the town and the whole county, and then one of the oldest houses still standing in Kentucky. And so I think we're number 15 or something like that. The oldest houses in Kentucky that are still standing. And so, it was built in the federal style. So very much just kind of a big brick box. And then when the Knights moved in, it was built in 1815. And we don't know who originally built it, but the first owner that we know was a guy named J.P. Campbell in 1844. He sells it to the Wares, Edmund and Paulina Ware. They only owned it for a couple of years. They sell it to the family called the Wadills. Wadills lived there for 10 years, and then they sell it to the Knights. The reason we call it the Knight House because the Knights bought it in 1860, and their family lived there until they sold it in 1945. And so, and all of these people I've mentioned, all the men were lawyers. So
Oh,
it's been nothing but lawyers have owned this house. So even up until modern times, with the exception of the people we bought it from. So in 1948, it was sold to the Rogers family. Well, the dad, W. Rogers Jr., was an attorney. The son, P.D. Rogers, became an attorney, and the people we bought it from, the guy was an engineer. So far, all the history comes from lawyers, and but most of them made their money from real estate.
was that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing because with JB Knight, the one who bought it in 1860, we have hundreds of original documents and letters that were saved because he was a lawyer.
That's
True. That
Yeah.
is good.
And so I'm
Oh,
slowly
man.
digitizing those and saving those. But
Amazing.
I'm sorry, did you say it was 1916 or 15 or 1815?
1815, 210 years old.
1815.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
That is
That's
pretty
like got to
cool.
be one of the oldest buildings. Wow. That I
Yeah.
had ever even known of.
Well, especially in the South, because
Yeah.
the South wasn't settled, especially Western Kentucky and kind of even Western Tennessee,
Yeah.
were settled kind of late 1700s. So, you going up north into New York and places like that, you get a lot older buildings just because people were there in the 1600s, or Savannah or St. Augustine or Charleston, they were settled in the 1600s. But to have a house survive over 200 years is pretty amazing feat.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That is
definitely.
amazing. Oh my
It's definitely a
gosh.
cool looking building. I mean, I'm sitting here scoping it out on
Yeah,
your
yeah,
website there, and that
Yeah.
really yeah, it's pretty cool looking. I like that.
yeah. So being a residence for that long, it's been changed a lot, and we don't even know some of the changes that were made because people would, they tweaked it to what their family needed or whatever. And the Knights did the biggest renovations on the house because when they bought it, it was like I said, the federal style, so very boxy, not much ornate things on the outside. There wasn't even like a front porch; it's just basically stairs coming down. The big side porch that has the 2-story columns was not there. J.B. Knight added all of that when he moved in and switched the house over to Greek Revival, and that's where you get the big white columns on the side and the big side portico porch. And then we actually have the original contract from the contractor to build the front porch with the big columns and the stairs and turn it to Greek Revival. And then even in the house, the baseboards in the parlor are 2 foot tall, and the ceilings are 10 foot tall. And he changed out all the mantles except for one. We have one original mantle that's kind of still fancy and hand carved, and it's in one of the bedrooms. But all the other mantles are kind of boring, column looking square stuff because that was kind of the Greek Revival style in the 1860s. But changed out a lot of the doorknobs. These really fancy, expensive doorknobs.
Oh my God.
With that, yeah. They added a dining room onto the house, added a bedroom onto the house. Yeah, they did a lot of adding and things when they moved in.
Well, you said that you've been involved with podcasting, not podcasting, paranormal for over 20 years. What got you involved into the paranormal?
So I've kind of always been haunted my entire life. For whatever reason, I've just always had experiences. My family was always open about having experiences too. Even before I was born, when they moved to Tennessee from Indiana, they lived in a haunted house, an older haunted house here in the Nashville area. That a older lady would come and tuck the kids into bed at night, and they got so used to her because she was just nice. She was just like a granny.
The mother. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was like a granny, and so she would come tuck them in and things. And my family just kind of always had experiences. My first experience was when I was 8. I woke up in the middle of the night out of a dead sleep and sat up in my bed, and my door was open, and there was a glowing lady standing in the door, and it scared me. So I jumped up, slammed the door, and flipped the light on. And of course, she disappeared. When I did that, but that's the first experience I can remember having. And then was just kind of into it, and I was that weird kid that would go to the book fair looking for the Bigfoot books and the alien books and the ghost books and things like that, and always loved Halloween and that time of year. And then when I was 14, my father passed away, And so that kind of kicked me in overdrive of wanting to go out and experience the paranormal to prove to myself that, there was something beyond us. I wasn't really raised religious, and so kind of raised agnostic. So to go out and prove to myself that, he didn't just disappear, that there's another plane of existence he went to. And here in Middle Tennessee, in Franklin, Tennessee, where the Battle of Franklin happened, big Civil War battle, there's a house that when you're in high school, this is the way it used to be back then anyway, 20 years ago. When you're in high school, you go sneak in there in the middle of the night to see ghosts or whatever, because it's notoriously haunted. And so me and my friends started going and sneaking onto that property with an old shoulder VHS recorder, VHS video camera, and a mini cassette tape voice recorder. And so we sneak on the property, and we had lots of experiences at that place. And it's just kind of snowballed from there. And I actually didn't find out, because this was before the TV shows were out. And actually, until I was around 18 or 19, I didn't even realize that there were actually people that went out in groups as a hobby, and called themselves paranormal investigators and stuff, or even went into people's houses to help them. And so once I found that out, it really kicked into gear, because I started.
Oh, it was on.
Well, I started going out and meeting other people that were interested in stuff, and I wasn't just this kind of lone weirdo that my friends were kind of just going along with it,
Exactly. Weirdos like me. I get it.
Well, do y'all have any
so
questions?
Did you say your father died when you were what, 15?
14, yeah.
14?
97, yeah.
Okay, has he followed you from the other side? And have you experienced him often?
I've never seen him full on, but when he first passed away, stuff started happening. The TV would turn itself on and off, and we would hear tools rattling in our garage. And you go out there's nobody there, type of stuff, things like that. And then we would see shadows. We have a big picture window. I still live in my parents' house. I inherited their house, but we had a big picture window in the living room, and at night we would see the shadow go by there, and my mom swore up and down it was him and that she had seen him. Okay. And so, we had some experience with him. I haven't, in a long, long time, I haven't experienced him. Now, my mother passed away in 2009, and like I said, I inherited their house when she passed away. And so when I go down the hallway sometimes or through the kitchen, I'll smell her perfume kind of out of nowhere. And that's kind of impossible, because we've completely gutted the kitchen, renovated the whole house. So there's no way for that perfume to kind of be stuck in the walls or anything, And so, but briefly I'll smell her perfume. And she wore Jovan Musk, which was a very
unique,
particular scent. Yeah. And people don't really wear it anymore,
I think that's what I'm wearing today.
Is that what I smell? No, that's cool. I mean, that's awesome that they're still hanging around and kind of helping you from the other side, which is great. So they're still supporting you. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. They let me know little signs here and there that they're around sometimes, and so that they're proud of what I'm doing and what I've accomplished. So,
well, congratulations on that. Hey, on the house, did you say that it's a B&B? Can you stay there?
So we're not a B&B. We don't cook you breakfast. Sorry, I'm not going through the health department for that.
Okay, well then just the B. How about the B and nothing? How about that?
Can we bring donuts?
Yeah, I may get you donuts. We do provide snacks and coffee. We do provide snacks and coffee and Coke.
Oh, that's perfect. There you go, coffee.
But so paranormal teams can stay overnight, and we do an 8 p.m. till 8 a.m. the next morning, and we have beds you sleep in and all that stuff.
Okay.
So,
Got
fully functional bathrooms. We have heat and air. It's a fully functional house. We could actually live there if we wanted to. It's a fully functional place.
Cool. Do teams need to bring in stuff like bed sheets or anything to put on? It's just
we have all that stuff. It's all clean and ready to go.
Okay, nice. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I've got that on the list now, guys.
Okay. Great.
Sweet.
It's almost 8 hours for me, but it's just on the other side of Paducah. So
yeah.
I was just there. Yay! Not too long ago.
Paducah. Yeah, the whole area of Hopkinsville is interesting, because you have the Hopkinsville Goblin incident, if you're familiar with that happened in 1955, where these little alien creatures invaded this farm, the Sutton family farm, and attacked them for many, many hours, and they shot at them through the windows and everything, and they're about 3 foot tall, and just the crazy. And then Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet, is from Hopkinsville, so there's lots of stuff about him around town. You got the was it Thomas Mantell, who they think was shot down by a UFO, is not far from Hopkinsville, north of Hopkinsville. Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. Kentucky is just a weird place to begin with, but you hear all about Eastern Kentucky because Hellier kind of made that famous with a lot of the paranormal world. But Western Kentucky, and then you have Lamington Lakes with the Dogmen and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I've actually gotten to know Geraldine Sutton Stith, who the Hopkinsville Goblin incident happened to her family, and she wasn't born yet, but it happened to her dad and her grandmother. And I've gotten to know her and like hear about it straight from her, that she got it straight from her grandma and her dad and her aunts and uncles. And so that's pretty cool. And she's going to be at the Goblin Con too as a speaker and as a vendor. So
when is the Goblin Con?
It's in October 17th and 18th.
Cool.
At the Bruce Convention Center in Hopkinsville. And we're going to do a little mini festival August 23rd at Visit Hopkinsville, the Tourist Bureau, because the actual anniversary is August 22nd into the 23rd was when it really happened in 1955.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list, is to make it to Hopkinsville.
Yeah.
For that reason.
It's a really cool town. It's
well, you're kind of short. You might be confused with a goblin.
I can't argue. I am kind of short.
But we're slowly announcing our speakers now. We've got some para-celebrities and things coming in to speak. But we're also doing workshops as well as some classes. We're going to have lots of other cool things, cool vendors. And yeah, just have 2 days of fun. We got VIP tickets that we're going to have available that have a whole host of extras and things.
Where are we going to be able to find those at? Is there a website for the con, or is it?
So tickets are going to go on sale August 1st, the VIP tickets and the general admission. And it's goblinconky.com is the website where you can find all the information. And also on Facebook. We've been announcing our vendors and announcing our speakers.
That's good times.
Well, I just looked it up.
This is your first convention that you've done?
Oh, no. They hired me to do it because I've done plenty of other events. And
okay, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it sounds like you got it. I was like going, wow, you got this all figured out. Pretty good. Done a couple of them and pulled my hair out generally when I did mine. So
yeah,
not all of it. I mean, I still have some.
How far is Hopkinsville from Paducah? Is it like an hour and a half?
It's about an hour.
Okay, so it's only like 8 hours from here. It's not bad.
I just looked it up, Eric. It's 4 hours from me. Yes. I'm in St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah.
So you said you were a medic?
Yeah, I was a medic on the ambulance in the ER for 15 years.
EMT type? Or
yeah. I was advanced EMT. Yeah.
Okay. So X-ray tech. Are you able to use any of those skills in the paranormal?
Oh yeah. Especially when I used to do private homes and private clients. I don't do that anymore. But the mental health side definitely came into effect for the private clients, figuring out if it's mental health issues or if it's, actual haunting stuff. But yeah, I think those skills come in handy all the time. I think for one, I thrive in chaos. So doing the events kind of was right up my alley too. But yeah, just also I'm used to I guess it may be more laid back and mellow because of some of the things I've dealt with in EMS. And so a ghost is not really that scary to me. I run toward the stuff instead of away from it type deal. And
they never scared me either. So.
Humans scare me more than ghosts.
Yeah. The worst monsters are definitely real.
Yeah.
And so like even in the dark and stuff, I've been in some shady places on an ambulance, at night. So, I worked 24-hour shifts for a while. So, I've been in some shady places at night. So going into some of these places to investigate, it's not that big a deal. But also having kind of the structure of working in medicine, because we're very structured in EMS, how we do things, and having that structure of investigation and kind of the repetitiveness of it, of kind of trying to do the things the same way every time. Not saying I investigate the same way every time, because do try different experiments and things, but
you have a protocol. You have a procedure that you follow. You try to adhere to as much as you can. I get that. I'm an X-ray tech. I've been an X-ray tech for 40 years. Still am an X-ray tech. So when I'm actually doing an investigation, I have this is what we do. This is how we go about doing it. And I utilize a lot of my diagnostic background when it comes down to going over data and stuff like that. So I was able to utilize my career field in my investigating. So that's why I asked the question. So pretty cool. I can see that. Yeah,
So,
you as a paramedic EMT, you're sitting there. Yeah, I can see you being in an odd situation sometimes. So
yeah.
that's
I think also having your head on a swivel and being observant to not just your surroundings, but also for your patient to recognize every little thing that's going on, because one little symptom can mean the difference between treating for this or this. I think that comes down to it too, with like you're saying, diagnostics and things like that with the paranormal and with what's going on in a haunting and trying to figure out who's there and that type of stuff.
So in your EMT capacity, did you have experiences then or during those times with things that were pretty odd?
Yeah.
Have you had experiences like that?
Not in emergency medicine.
Okay.
It's kind of fast paced. You're not really paying attention to things like that. There are odd little things that happen here and there. But also for the most part with emergency medicine, you never know what happened to your patient for the most part. Most of them, we take them to the ER, drop them off, they're gone. Even working in the ER, once they go upstairs or go wherever they're going, ICU or whatever, you don't know what happened to that patient. It's on to the next. And you're so busy in the ER or on the ambulance that you really don't have any time to pay attention.
You get past a ghost and talk to a ghost and not realize it.
Yeah. I mean, now when I was a nurse tech, before I became a medic, I worked as a nurse tech for a few years in nursing homes, and I worked in a nursing home that was built in the 1940s. And this is, I guess 2001, 2002, around there when I worked there. So I'd been in nursing homes since the 40s. This one wing that I worked in, it was the Alzheimer's lockdown unit, and I worked in it at night. And
those are creepy anyways.
Yeah. And they had built onto this building over the years, and so it was a huge place. And when we were down there at night, there was only three of us. There was a nurse, an LPN, and then me and another tech. And I worked 5 nights a week. And you had to go through physical therapy and through a giant dining room to get to where we were at. And when I say Alzheimer's lockdown unit, you had to put a code in to unlock the door, so we didn't have anybody wandering off, because a lot of the patients were pretty far gone with Alzheimer's. But there's a lot of creepy things happen there. It kind of started off slow, and then it just kind of escalated, I guess, as they got comfortable with me as I worked there for a while. Started off with the footsteps, catching things out of the corner of your eye. Probably the first major thing that happened, because this was an old nursing home, they had ward rooms, which means there were 2 beds on each side of the room. And so you had 4 patients in each room. There's a bathroom in the middle. And the bathroom has a night light, kind of like hospitals do, like a vent that has a light coming out of it. Well, we push all the wheelchairs into the bathroom so we didn't trip over at night, because a lot of times we go and check on the patients without turning the light on, and kind of your eyes get adjusted. But sometimes when we walk into that door of that room, you'd see somebody sitting in the wheelchair and they're backlit by this night light. It's a head and shoulders in a wheelchair. And of course you turn the light on real quick, there's nobody there. Or see people walking from one room across the hall into another. And you're like, because your first thought is, one of my patients up, I don't want them to fall and hurt themselves or, hurt another patient or something. You get down there, nobody's out of bed. Everybody's asleep, the craziest
I've worked in hospitals my whole career, and I've never worked at a hospital that didn't have a ghost story.
Yeah.
Every hospital.
Yeah. The craziest thing that happened there was one night the nurse and the other tech were on lunch. So I was on the floor by myself. And it's kind of, if you imagine like a horror movie where the only light on is the one at the nurse's station. The other hallway, it come to a T, and the nurse's station in the corner of the T. That's the only light. The rest of the hallway is dark both ways. And you got double doors at the end that have glass. Well, they have like street lights shining in them. So you get a little bit of backlight down the hallway. But it's kind of creepy because I'm the only person. Everybody's in bed. All the patients should be in bed anyway. And I walk up to the T to go check on patients because we did rounds of 15 minutes. And I look down to my left at the end of the hallway, and there is a tall, skinny guy in a black suit, younger guy, standing at the end of the hallway. He looks at me. We stare at each other for probably 10 seconds. He smiles, not a creepy smile. I thought it was a real person. He turns to his left and goes into the patient's room. And it's another one of these ward rooms with 2 patients on each side. So I'm like, it's 3:00 in the morning. Like, there's no visitors. The guy didn't come through the locked doors because I would have hurt him, And so I walked down there because I'm like, who the hell's in the nursing home? I'm concerned for my patients. I'm thinking this is a real person.
Yeah.
And I get down there and go in the room. There's nobody there. So I go home at 7:00 the next morning. I go home at 7:00 that morning. And an hour after I went home, one of the patients in that room died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's who you saw.
So I always call it the angel of death.
Or heard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we also had this lady who was end stage Alzheimer's. And if you try to talk to her, she wouldn't answer questions, nothing. She was pretty much nonverbal most of the time. And we had to do everything for her, feed her, everything. But she would start yelling about the men in the corner. And whenever she started yelling about the men in the corner, I quickly learned from the staff throughout the entire building that knew this, somebody's going to die in the nursing home. Somebody's going to die. And until she stops yelling about the men in the corner, people are going to die. And they usually come in threes. And then she would stop yelling about the men in the corner. Nobody would die for a month or whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
Mr. Black.
Mr. Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny because you talk about seeing the guy go in the room at a local hospital here in town, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I'm working there. They know I'm a ghost hunter, and I get a call from one of the nurses. She's frantic. Come to this ward. So I come up there real quick to do it, and she's like, I'm standing here doing charting, and I look at the hall, and there's a man standing outside of the isolation room. And she said, "Sir, you can't be outside your room. You're in isolation. You need to go back in there." And he didn't. So she started to fold her stuff up and started to walk towards him. He went into the room. So she comes up the hallway, goes into the room, opens up the door to where this guy went into, and the lady who was in the room was, restrained to the bed. So she said she ran out. Oh, that wasn't me.
That was my dog. Sorry.
That's when she called me. I'm like, what do you expect me to do about it? I can't investigate this place. That'd be great, If there's anybody here with us, could you speak into my microphone?
Can you knock on the walls? Can you do something?
Yeah.
Knock something over.
I like how the dog waited till the pinnacle of the story to bark and make everybody jump a little bit. I think I peed a little bit.
He does that so often. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah. He's like, oh, good story. Boo.
Well, you scared the dog.
I think that was our dazzle for the night right there.
Okay, show's over.
No, that being said,
good job, Asheron. Good job.
I was going to write a book about ghost stories in all the hospitals around, and I started actually compiling a whole bunch of data and stories, and I just never finished it up. And I guess there's a TV show that does the same thing, Haunted Hospitals or something like that. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not a good writer. I'm terrible because I'm a bullet point guy. That was Shauna.
That was my dog.
She tried to blame it on her dog, but that was Shauna.
I actually talked to the producers of Haunted Hospitals for that story about the Angel of Death, and they came to Nashville to record a bunch of people right after COVID a couple of years ago, and they sent me the NDA the day before, and I read over the NDA, and I called them back and told them no, because they would have owned that story of mine. I couldn't come on podcast and talk about it. They would have owned it for almost 2 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I could not tell that story in a public capacity, period, until it aired.
Oh my God.
And I said, well, what am I really getting out of Haunted Hospitals? They're not paying me.
I'm not getting nothing out of it.
Yeah, it's just not doing anything for me, going and tell the story. Okay, I've been on TV before. I really don't care. Like, it's not about being on TV,
Exactly.
So it's not a big deal. But yeah, I called and told them no, that wasn't going to do it.
Well, that's silly. You'd think that because if you told that story, you could say it was seen on such and such show that would make people look for it.
Yeah.
Especially the way you get, that sounds bad. The way you get around. No, there's so many people that know you and know who you are.
I get around.
Yeah.
And
I'm a podcast host. It's okay.
Well, they did that episode anyway.
They did what? What?
They did that episode, Angel of Death.
Do they?
Yeah, because I remember watching that one.
Well, that's my story, and they stole it as they did.
So I mean, well,
you better look into that.
I mean,
Yeah.
they probably found somebody else to whatever. But yeah, I think I saw that episode.
The only thing I was interested in is like, who are they going to get to play me? I want to see the actors reenacting it.
Right.
You know,
Right?
that would be interesting to see
I
yourself
was,
played by somebody else. You know, because
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. It's you
No,
know, I've always
that's
been myself on TV, and
Yeah.
so to see somebody else play you would be interesting. But
oh
yeah,
God,
I just didn't want
wouldn't
them. I didn't want them to own my story, because then when I do podcasts, because I get asked the medical question all the time when people find out that I used to be a medic and used to work in medicine, that ever all comes up, and I'm like, well, that's the biggest, craziest things ever happened to me. You know, as far
yeah.
as in the medical field, and like, so if you're going to own that story, no, I can't. Just to be on
Yeah.
TV, no.
But
Yeah,
it's not their story, it's your story.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
the bull
I had,
malarkey.
I got a friend here in Arkansas who is doing some filming, and he did a show, DVD called Seekers, and it was basically paranormal stories and what got us started, or the most haunted whatever that we did. And so we did one, and they reenacted my first paranormal experience, which was a more of a crypto type thing. And but yeah, the people who was reenacting, me and my wife, uh, didn't nail us. and
Oh.
and and the creature, there's no way they could do it. So I don't know what they did. It's like they threw a
Oh, that'd be
stuffed
too
animal
funny.
and stuffed animal in front of the camera, and they made it look like it happened real fast. And I just, when I saw it, I knew there's no way he could do it. I was wondering how he's going to do this thing, and the way it came across, and I gut laughed. I couldn't help it. It was funny.
Lord.
But I love him, and I love the show, and it's made my wall of fame over here. So yeah,
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I find hospices to be kind of interesting places. My dad was in one for about 4 days here in St. Louis about 6, 7 years ago, and I visited him after work every night, and I'd be there pretty late. Um, the people who were there, the nurses, I guess, that were working there, realized that I was a paranormal investigator. They said, "Nobody's in the other half of this place. Why don't you go sit down there for a while and you tell us
Wow.
what you experience?" And it was quite fascinating. Some of the crazy things I was seeing or thinking I was seeing. You know, here I am grieving because my dad's about ready to go anyway.
Right.
But I was there. I was there one afternoon or one evening, and I went in to get a cup of coffee in the kitchen area. And this other lady who had been, she was uh, a patient there, final days, and she's talking to me, and I'm getting coffee, and she goes, they told me I was going to be dying about 4 weeks ago, and she had been there about 7 or 8 weeks, something like that. And while we were talking, I had just got my cup of coffee, and she's looking at me. She's probably about 5, 6, 7 inches shorter than me, and she's kind of looking up. And while she's talking, her eyes completely grayed out, like a
Whoa.
gray
Wow.
covering came over it, and she's still talking, and I'm like, this is crazy. And her eyes ungrayed, she went back to her normal colors and all that. And she looks at me, she goes, because I'm just kind of looking at her, she goes, something just happened, didn't it? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, your eyes changed. She goes, I thought so. Don't know, because my dad died the following day, but I don't know whatever happened to her. But I told one of the ladies, I said, was this, or one of the nurses, I said, was this lady some kind of an angel? Was she really there when this all happened? She goes, yes, she is a patient, and she's been here for about 7 weeks or so. And I'm like, oh my God, that's one of the weirdest things.
That was my first thought when you started telling that story was,
Yeah.
is he going to tell me that she really wasn't there? Like he was talking to because that would be the first question I asked too.
All right.
I did ask that, and I mean, I didn't know for about 4 hours before I found an answer to find somebody to talk to. And it's like,
am I crazy?
I just talked to an angel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, they finally said, no, she is a patient. And she's down here in this particular room. But yeah, I never got a chance to see her again. But I'm like, yeah, that was
That's wild.
That was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
So.
To see that, I've caught similar things on camera. Bless you.
Bless you.
Sorry, thank you.
Grayed out faces and things like that on camera.
Okay.
And found that interesting because it's only happened at one place with multiple cameras, but at Thomas House in Red Bull Springs, Tennessee, with different cameras over different. I mean, I've been there probably 20 different weekends. The Thomas House, one of my favorite places. But anyway, but I've seen that grayed out stuff, but it's always been still pictures. To see it live right in front of you, somebody medically, I'd be like, "Are you okay? You about to die? Like you're just going to drop dead right here?" You know.
Because medically, that's not cool.
No.
I'd be like head CT stat.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, you said you were on a couple of shows. What shows were you on?
Here recently, I've been on local news a lot. They liked me at one of the news stations to do paranormal stuff in the fall. But I was on Trauma Life in the ER actually when I worked at Vanderbilt doing adult trauma. That was the first time I was on national TV. And then here recently, I was on a show called Haunted Discoveries about a location in north of Nashville called Rosemont in Gallatin, Tennessee. And it's airing on TNE in Canada, which is kind of their Discovery Channel. And so here you have to go on Sling, and you can look it up on demand or Haunt TV. And but it's two of my buddies. They were on the A&E version of Ghost Hunters, Brandon Alvis and Mustafa Gadalori. And so I had investigated Rosemont many times, and so they had me on there talking about the history and things that I experienced as an investigator at the house. So that's the most recent, but several other things too throughout life.
Did you say you wrote a book also, or a couple books?
Yeah,
this is my first book. Yeah, Small Town Haunts and Legends, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
And I'm working on the second one, which is going to be Kentucky, Small Town Haunts and Legends, Kentucky. Yeah, and kind of work around different states. The point of the book, it's kind of set up like a reference book where you can just jump around from town to town, or from West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, or East Tennessee. But the point of the book was if you don't live in a certain area, you don't hear about the local hauntings and legends and the interesting stuff in that area, in those small towns, those smaller places. So I stayed away from like Memphis and Chattanooga and Nashville and some of the other big cities, Knoxville, across Tennessee, because I wanted to go find the history of some of these interesting places and the hauntings go along with it, as well as like the interesting legends that are kind of just Tennessee based. And some of them are kind of pervasive all over, like Bigfoot in Tennessee. You have the Tennessee Wild Man, which is kind of Bigfoot type creature, and all this other stuff. But I found it's probably 70% history in the book, and then the hauntings backing up, coming from the history. They kind of correlate a lot of that. But you can jump around if you have 5 minutes to read a story. Some of them are 1 page, some of them are 5 pages. And so it just depends on how much you want to read. And I kind of like, when I was growing up, we always had those bathroom books or like the coffee table book, before you had your cell phone to entertain you. Yeah. And so, or like the Reader's Digest, compendiums where they had all the different short stories. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I wanted it to be, that people could put it on a coffee table and just pick it up every once in a while and read a story here and there, or in the bathroom or whatever. And so, I found all these really interesting places with lots of different history and interesting hauntings too, from ghost parrots to the ghost parrot is the interesting one. There was an enslaved lady who worked in the summer kitchen at this location, and they let her have a parrot. They had to let her have a macaw parrot. That was her pet. Oh, wow. And the macaw stayed in the kitchen with her, and macaws live 60 to 80 years. Yeah. And she became free after the Civil War, and they hired her as a domestic servant, and the macaw was still there with her until the day she died. And she worked in that house basically her whole life. And then the macaw died, and now they not only do they see and hear her in the kitchen, the summer kitchen, they hear the bird and see the bird.
That's cool.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about a best friend for life.
And
I
beyond.
And death.
haven't encountered any ghost birds, but I have ghost cats and elephants,
dogs,
horses, dogs,
elephants.
And
elephants.
I think I've heard that one.
Ghost elephant. That was down here at the Fox Theater when I investigated that here in St. Louis.
There was an elephant.
Yeah, I heard an elephant sound. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it could have been like a trumpet, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then
did you have Taco Bell before you went? And that's what I want to know.
I was about ready to say. I've also had not only the sound, which did not record, but we heard it, and then we had the elephant smell, like at the zoo right afterwards. There used to be the Shriner Circus used to be there. I think it's or maybe not Shriners. It was one of the big circuses.
That's sad if one of the elephants died there.
Well, it was his happy place. I don't know if he died there, but
I don't know.
Yeah. We caught a horse whinny one time at Rosemont in Gallatin, Gallatin, Tennessee. It was a thoroughbred racehorse farm. They were never a plantation. They were a thoroughbred racehorse farm, and they produced the grandfather secretariat. That's how predominant the racehorses were. And during the Civil War, when they were occupied by the Union took a bunch of their horses for the cavalry because these were fast horses.
Yeah.
And they're used to heat and all that. So they hid some of their best horses in the basement. And when we were in the basement, we got a horse whinny on tape down there, and you can tell it's a horse. And then we also got the floor was brick, and the brick's been there since it was built, so it's like inset in the ground. And we have the little cat balls. Every time we talk about a horse, the cat ball would go off, but there's no way to move this floor because it's just solid brick.
Yeah.
And so every time we talk about a horse, the cat boy will go off. But yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
How weird.
And then at the Night House, speaking about ghost parrots, the Night House, the Rogers family lived there from 1948 until 2014. And I did not know that they had a macaw parrot. I did not know this. Somebody asked me a couple months after they bought the house, have you heard the parrot yet? No, I don't know what you're talking about. So then I had Petey Rogers, the son, who grew up there. He's 87 now. He grew up there. He told me they had a macaw for like 50 years.
Oh, wow.
And so then a month after that, on one of our cameras, the sound goes off and it sounds like a parrot screeching and whistling.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
It was making itself known.
Yeah, and that's the only time I've heard it, the only time I've experienced it. And it doesn't sound like any bird around here. I mean, a parrot sounds a bit different.
Pretty distinctive, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's no finch.
No.
Yeah, right.
No.
So do you only investigate for spirits basically, or have you gone Bigfoot searching or aliens? Any encounters?
I have not.
Goblin hunting. There you go. Yeah.
I'm not a camper. I am not, and not that I'm scared of Bigfoot. I'm scared of things that I know are in the woods, like bobcats and mountain lions and bears. Yeah. And that little thin tent is not going to protect them from trying to drag me out and eat me. So Eric doesn't camp. That's just
100%. I'm with you, Eric. I'm with you.
Oh, you just make restaurants with Adrian.
I would love to go out and hear like tree knocks and things like that. That would be cool for Bigfoot. Yes. And we have some areas around here that are notorious for Bigfoot, but no, I'm fine with going hiking and things like that. I'm just not a camper. And I joke about the tent and stuff, but the biggest reason is because in the summer here it's so hot and so muggy.
Yeah.
There's no way you're sleeping in a tent. Yeah. In the winter it's so cold. There's no way I'm sleeping out in the cold when I don't have to.
It's like 2 weeks that you could do that comfortably.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And this time of year is the comfortable time to do it because it's like 70 degrees during the day, but we have our monsoon season. And so it's been raining so much that,
Oh, yeah.
It's going to rain for the next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So, April is always our big monsoon. And we've had more rain this month than we've had in a long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, just here at my house, the big rain event, we had that flooded Hopkinsville and Western Kentucky and all that. They had 16 inches up there in 4 days. We had 12 inches in the Nashville area. So we had some flooding here too. But
good time.
Yeah, I was just in Louisville last weekend, and oh my God, the Ohio River, it's up over, and I found some new lakes, and right there, it's Illinois and the Indiana border.
Yeah.
We now have the Farmers Lakes that were about 20 miles long. I felt like I was driving through Florida.
Yeah. Swampland.
On 64, it's like nothing but water out there. It's like, holy moly.
Yeah.
So. It's the most ungodly screams of Bigfoot, and what the heck is that? Now, ungodly or girly screams, I want to know. To me, it would be a girly scream. Hey, Eric, we got 4 minutes left. I want you to plug whatever you need. What do you got coming up? Any shows you're doing? Goblin Con, whatever. Just it's all you.
Tomorrow, I am recording for the Grave Talks, that massive paranormal podcast. So I got that message out of the blue last week, which is awesome. So tomorrow I'm recording for. I don't know when the episode will be out, but it'll be out soon on the Grave Talks. You can pick my book up on Amazon. It's in hardback, paperback, Kindle, and right now for another month, it's on Kindle Unlimited for free. Nice. The Night House, if you want to book the Night House or see pictures or anything, thenightHouseKY.com, and night is spelled KNIGHT. And that's where all the stuff for the Night House is. If you want to investigate, history tour, see public events we have going on, things like that. Stay tuned. We got a couple of TV shows coming in the summer to film. So it'll be on TV, and I'll be on TV again with it. So, and then Goblin Con coming October 17th and 18th in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. It's going to be a good time, and I'm excited to keep announcing speakers. So far, I've announced 2. The one I announced yesterday was Ken Gerhard, the renowned cryptozoologist. Very nice guy. I've had him on my podcast, and I've been talking to him. Of course, getting all the information and signing contracts and things for Goblin Con. But yeah, he's going to be there talking about his new book, and he's going to teach our Cryptid 101 class as well.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. And we got some other names out there that people are going to be interested in. So.
Nice.
Ken is does the Arkansas Paranormal show every year for the past several years.
Yeah.
And so he's pretty cool. Him and his whole clan come, so he's pretty all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, anything that anybody wants to know that I have going on, all of the above that I just said, they can find me under Eric Freeman Sims on Facebook. That's kind of the predominant social media. I really don't do the other social medias too much. And like I said, the podcast is on hiatus, but you can listen to Unseen Paranormal Podcast, and you really listen to musical podcasts. I only do audio for the most part, but I do have a YouTube channel also that they can go listen to episodes on there as well. But there's 170 of them, so with different guests, and a lot of fun.
Awesome.
But thank y'all for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
It was a fun hour. Gosh.
Yeah,
I hope we didn't intimidate you with our wonderful.
Oh,
it was the dazzle. The dazzle did it.
The dazzle, yeah. All right, Eric.
Muckedness.
Definitely. I'm going to send you back to the green room, and we're going to talk for a second. Hang around because we're going to talk a little after the show. Okay?
Right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Boom. Oh, look at me. I'm all big.
Oh.
What do we got? Who do we got next week? Ken should know.
Ken should know.
We have something.
Joy and Sherry.
Oh my God.
Hang on a minute. You caught me off guard here.
Hey, he's having problems.
Joy and Sherry from the Palmer House.
From the Palmer House up in Minnesota. Yeah. Joy and Sherry. I apologize if I forgot your names right now. I can't read. It's called eye surgery yesterday, so I'm really having trouble focusing. But yes, from the Palmer House. And I found out when I met them about a month or two ago that they're up in Minnesota area, and I've not done much up in Minnesota yet. So
I haven't done anything in Minnesota.
It's going to be
fun.
The
Minnesota voice?
Minnesota.
Yes.
Minnesota. All right.
I will just say, Joy, Sherry, make sure you have the Minnesota voice.
I like it. All right, everybody.
Oh
anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for
watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.